Hello, everyone. Welcome, beautiful priestesses. I am so delighted to be here with you. I know we're gathering on a different day. Usually it's Wednesdays at 2:30, but I had to shift it to Monday at 2:30 for this week. I do want to let you know that next week I will be out of town, so there will not be a priestess transmission next week. So, thank you so much for being here. What do we do every week? Why are we gathered together, right? We're gathered together because these are pivotal times in the earth's history. Yes, this is how important this is. This is a lifetime that is so important. All of them are important. This is a unique lifetime in that many of us came into this world with that sacred prayer in our heart to be of deep service. Service to humanity, service to the planet's ascension, awakening, enlightenment, whatever word you want to use. And because of that, we signed up for some rigorous training, right? We knew that the way to be of help was to experience a lot of different things. And so at this point in the collective journey of what I'm calling the priestess path, there is a huge awakening happening. Not that you were asleep before, but it's this deeper awakening of your purpose, of your divine mission, a deeper awakening of your spiritual gifts, your intuitive gifts, your psychic gifts, a deeper awakening of the holy presence within you. All of that is here available because the world needs us fully embodying our divinity. And so when we gather here every week, it's to remember that. And today I'm going to specifically talk about being of service. And this is really important because it's one of those phrases, being of service, that you either, it might feel very comfortable for you, like, oh, yeah, of course I am of service. Or the opposite, it might feel triggering if you're healing from past wounds around being of service. And so when I was tuning into today's transmission, I pulled this beautiful card from the Star Oracle, Star Temple Oracle. This card, the Diamond Star Destiny. I focus on service and follow my higher purpose. So look at that. I focus on service and follow my higher purpose. So the reason I think this is really important to talk about is when I work with my clients, and I felt this as well, or even my current clients, or even people who connect with me as potential clients, there's often, along with the prayer to be of service, there's often also a fear of fully being in service. What are some of the common fears that come up? I invite you to think about it. When you think about your life, your journey, your career, your creative expression, the way you move around in the world, if you knew that your soul was always inviting you to be of more service, what are the fears that come up for you? Maybe you don't have any, and that's fine, but it's very normal to have them. So, what are some of the fears that come up for you? I know some common ones can be, well, people will take advantage of me, or I don't have enough energy for that. I'll be so exhausted if I really come into more service, or, you know, I'm not going to be able to have the right boundaries and I'm just going to drown in everybody else's needs, or I'm so sensitive, I'm going to feel everybody's pain if I'm in greater service. There's so many things, and some are saying for me is negative judgment and getting it wrong. Yes, absolutely, right? Then it's like maybe you're like, well, I'm not worried about those other things, but what if I'm judged, or what if I don't do it right, or what if I make a mistake, what if I create harm? There's all of the fears. Hi Claire, good to see you. And so what I want to say first in this conversation around service is that that is really normal, and it's very important to normalize it, to talk about it, because when you share it, when you say it and you recognize, wow, she feels that and she feels that and he feels that, it's like, oh, this is just a way that our egoic mind tries to keep us safe, and tries to keep us actually from our greatest expansion and our greatest joy. Now, this isn't to say, you know, there might be, of course, wounds that you're going to be guided to heal, right, on your path of greater service. That's just part of it. That's just part of the journey. And the way, how in the beginning I said that this lifetime is so important, so unique, is that especially in these times, is that we are being called to heal and lead simultaneously, to heal ourselves and lead simultaneously. So what I mean is that with that question, what am I afraid of when I hear my soul's invitation to be of greater service? What are the fears that come up for me? And whatever they are for you, some are shared one. Please, anybody else, if you want to share either in the chat or in the comments, if you're watching the replay, please feel free to do so. I would love to read those. But once you recognize the fear, it doesn't mean, okay, well, I guess I just have to wait until I don't have that fear anymore. It might take 5 years, but that's okay. No, that's not that lifetime. This lifetime is the one where we say, where it's the courageous journey of like, yes, I have those fears and I need help with that. And I'm going to get help with it, whether it's through your ascended master mentors, whether it's through professional support, whatever it is. And I'm going to lead while I heal those up. It's like, as one of my teachers calls it, it's like leading at the edge of your vulnerability. That's how you know you're doing it right. There's a tenderness, there's a vulnerability, there's a little bit of shakiness that happens as you agree to lead in this way. And guess what? We all agreed to lead in this way when we came into this world. We forgot, but and the reason it's so important to talk about this is because so many amazing leaders, amazing healers, amazing spiritual teachers, amazing, what I would all put under the umbrella of priestess, are holding back because they think, oh, because I have these insecurities, it must mean I'm not ready. But that is not true. And so it's important to talk about this and normalize it and really talk about, what does it mean to be of service? What does it mean and what doesn't it mean, so that you can take the next step in your leadership. And please understand that perhaps when you tune into your soul, you see, oh my gosh, I can totally see my soul saying that I'm going to be doing YouTube lives if you're not doing them already, right? Maybe you see that, but you're like, there's no way I could do a YouTube live. Like, that's so far ahead for me. That's okay. Your soul might be showing you 5 steps ahead. And then the question is like, what's the next right step? Maybe the next right step is you send a really inspirational blog post to your email list, right? Or you post something on social media, or you go have that conversation with that person, or you go to the yoga class. I don't know, but it's really important to know that sometimes your soul will give you the big vision, and then you're still kind of in the process of like, okay, what's the next right step for me? And so back to our theme of service, let me be clear on what being of service is not. Okay? Being of service is not about rescuing other people. That is not being of service. And that, I think many of us get that really mixed up in our brain. It's not our fault. It's just the way sacred teachings have been corrupted. And so we think that's what it is. It's like, oh, that person needs help, I must go rescue that person. And there's two really main problems with that thinking. One is that on this priestess path, on the path of true spiritual leadership, first and foremost, we are affirming for everybody that they have their own beautiful soul, their own connection to the divine, their own connection to the ascended masters and angels, if they want that connection, to be able to rescue themselves, right? This isn't about, we're priestesses, the superheroes that go in and save the world. No, that's an old paradigm that actually does not help ultimately. So it isn't about rescuing other people. And the other thing is that, like, we can't. That's the other big reason, is we literally can't. Even if you help someone, if you come in from that energy of rescuing, you might have experienced this, right? Where somebody needs help. Maybe it's someone in your life that always kind of ends up in the same type of issue, maybe different details, and you've helped them and you feel really good about yourself, and maybe they feel really good, and then a few months later they're back in the same place, and then you help them again, and it just goes on and on and on and on until you realize, like, am I really helping them? Is this how I'm supposed to help them? Like, I keep going in to rescue them, but this isn't what's true service. And so it's really important to know, like, oh, being of service is not about rescuing. That doesn't mean, so what is being of service? Being of service is finding, first and foremost, your great responsibility when you are of service is to ensure that you are doing whatever it is you need to do in your life to have an ongoing connection with your soul every day, throughout the day. That's the only way we can be of true service, because that ensures that we don't let our own well-intentioned parts take over. Because it, so what do I mean by that? You're, and let me stop here because I meant to say this in the beginning. This is going to be like a little, we do the priestess transmission once a week, or I lead these, but I have a free 3-day masterclass called Soul Immersion for Career Success that starts on Wednesday. And we're going to go a lot deeper into this. I'm going to really break it down for you so that you can, the purpose of that training, that masterclass, is to take you to that next level of intimacy and connection with your soul, so that you can take that next step of, like, whatever the next step is for you, so that you're not thinking about it, you're not sitting on it, you're not dwelling on it for the whole year thinking, should I, shouldn't I, should I, shouldn't I? No, this is like, and so if you're interested, please sign up. You can, I will put the link. You do, even though it's free, you do have to register. I thought I was going to do it on YouTube Live, but I'm actually going to do it via Zoom. It just will give me more flexibility. So you do have to register for it. If you attend live, there will be a raffle with a little free giveaway. And also, the replay will be available for a limited time. So you can get all the details on my Facebook page, on my website, and I'll put the link to register for the Zoom for the class. So I just wanted to say that because I meant to say that in the beginning. But so being of service, we said, is not about rescuing. Being of service is first and foremost, you recognizing, this is what I was saying, that your number one priority, really listen to this, your number one priority, your number one responsibility, your number one sacred mission is to be of service to your own soul. That's number one. And this, please hear why this is so. This isn't the ego's version of that, is the number one person is me and I'm more important than anybody else, and who cares about anybody else? I just have to make sure I'm okay. That's the narcissistic ego shadow version of the truth. The truth is, you have a soul. We all have a soul. You can call it your higher self, your true essence, that is eternally connected to source, to the divine, to spirit, to God, universe, whatever word you want to use. Your soul has the higher perspective of your sacred mission. Your soul has been with you through lifetimes. Your soul understands everything you've gone through and every lesson you're here to master. Your soul knows that everyone else also has a soul. Your soul has no judgment of you or anybody else. Your soul is compassionate, wise, joyful, efficient. I mean, so your soul is a master, basically. So, in order for you to be of the greatest service possible, then your number one commitment is to become the disciple of your soul, to surrender your ideas of what service means and really come to the foot of your soul, right? And be like, okay, beautiful soul, teach me. How am I here to serve? How can I help this person? Right? Or like when I come in these priestess transmissions, I mean, I have an idea, I have a plan, I have, of course, but my number one prayer always, I've shared it here, right? Is like, okay, I'm here only to be of service. I think this is how I want to be of service, but soul, you know better. Even just that little prayer. And so that's the number one way that you ensure that you are actually of service and that you're not just creating codependency with your clients or students or coworkers or the people that you're here to serve. It's this type of leadership is rare in the world and it's so needed. Leadership is service, service is leadership. This is why I do this every week. This is why I'm doing the free training, masterclass training. This is why I've committed so much of my time and energy and life training and initiations and in money invested in my own coaches and my own therapists and my own healers. And all of that is because my prayer is to be of service, and I'm committed to continuing to ask my soul to guide me and to never believe that I'm the one that's in charge. To know that it's always my soul that's in charge, it's always the divine that's in charge. And I can have all my feelings about that. I can throw tantrums sometimes about it. I can be upset. I can, there's things that I have done in my divine leadership that I thought, okay, I'm going to do them and they're going to be so successful and people are going to come and watch or attend these classes. And it didn't end up that way. And it was very frustrating for me. And it brought up all my own insecurities. But that was part of my training. That was part of my training. And that's what, being of service is really understanding that it's really a two-way street, right? It's like we're in service to our soul, but really your soul is in service to you. Your soul loves you unconditionally. And any challenges that you're going through, any difficulties, anything that you're trying to create in your career, anything that feels like, oh my gosh, why is this taking so long? Why is it so hard for me? Look at that person. She's so much more ahead than me. Those are all your ego's words, all, our human mind. But your soul is not trying to torture you, is not like, oh, judging you. It's just your soul knows exactly the training that you need. Like, I know I've shared this story here before. I think somewhere I've shared this. Some of you actually, I think Roxana, I know I used to teach meditation classes at a local yoga studio here in Chicago, and I would teach a weekly meditation class in person. Roxana, I think that's where I met you. And when I first started, I was the brand new teacher. The studio was divided into two studios, the yoga studio. I had the smaller studio. At that point, when I first began, they changed this later. In order to go into the bigger studio, you had to go through the little studio, right? And so here I am, brand new teacher, teaching meditation. Of course, all the insecurities that come up when you're, I was a seventh grade teacher for almost 10 years. So I was comfortable being a teacher, but the whole wellness, new age, spiritual realm was completely new to me. And I remember when there was my class and another teacher's class scheduled at the same time, the awkwardness I would feel when clients, students would come in, and I would be like, are they for me or for this other teacher? And of course, 90% of them were for the other teacher because I was just getting started. And so much of my fears and insecurities would come up of like, oh my gosh, nobody's going to like my teaching. What if I can't do this? And I'm not saying that to judge myself. I have a lot of compassion for those times, but I could have thought, and I'm sure I did think, okay, so I'm here to be of service. Why aren't you making this easier? Why aren't you sending all these people to me? And why, but I had to come face to face with the part of me that felt that my value was dependent on external circumstances, that my value was dependent on how many people came to my classes, how many people signed up for this, or that's what would make me a better, more worthy person. So I had to go through a whole lot of situations so that I could clean that up. And why was that important? Because if not, eventually it wouldn't have been about service for me. It would have been about, oh, I want to make sure I have this amount of people, this amount of followers. I had to clean that up because so many people fall into that distraction. I had to really clean it up and realize, like, wait, my soul, God, the divine loves me if one person comes to my class or 1,000 people come to my class. That has nothing to do with my worth. And that was a really hard lesson for me to learn because I brought in all this trauma from childhood of like, I was loved because of what I accomplished, of being a nice person or being a good person or getting straight A's or whatever it was. So I had to unpack all of that. So my soul came up with the perfect curriculum for me. And on top of that, to make it incredibly public, right? To be like, I'm sure most people didn't even notice or care, but in my mind, I was like, oh my gosh, everybody's seeing how there's only 2 people in my class and there's 20 people in that person's class, right? It was like all of this. Roxana saying, yes, that's where we met. So I had to go through all of that. Now, eventually, my class became incredibly popular and people came, and it was such a joy for me to teach it. But then it was clean. Then I wasn't attached anymore. Then the divine could work through me so much more easily, right? Then I could really channel miracles because I wasn't distracted by the other stuff. I had to go through that training. Now, you might not have to go through that. For you, it might be something different. But this is what being of service is. Being of service is knowing that you're in service first and foremost to your own soul, and your soul is in great service to you. And when you do that, your soul's going to clean up all the places where kind of icky energy can come into your service. I mean, there's so many things, and I'll talk about some of these in the training, but there's rescuing, there's people pleasing, there's codependency, all these different flavors of things that masquerade as service and aren't service, especially when we bring in spirituality. It's very tragic, but especially in spirituality, there's all of these things that mask themselves as like, oh, this is what being a spiritual person is about. This is what being a good person is about. This is what being of service is about. Being of service is that I just take care of everyone else and I just put my needs last. And that makes me a really good person. And that is not true. I hardly ever, so I don't actually know if I've ever said a swear word on transmissions. And I don't judge you if you do. Hey, I have some teachers who will kind of drop an F-bomb here and there, and that's just part of their how they do their service. I have no judgment. But it's just usually not my way. But one was about to come out right there. I was like, wow, that was really interesting. But it was like, no, because think about it. If there is something you're meant to create in the world, that your soul's like, this is how you're going to help many people by finishing your book or by going to take that training or by hiring that coach or by starting your healing practice. But you're like, no, 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 I can't do that yet. I have to take care of all these people in my life first. They need me so much. Your soul, and understand that anytime your soul guides you to take a step of service, it's going to benefit everyone in your life. It's not that your soul saying, forget them, they don't matter. No. But if your soul is saying this is where you need to put your energy, even if it means you're going to disappoint these people in your life, you trust that. And that's a whole other conversation. Maybe that'll be the next priestess transmission, right? It's like learning to disappoint other people, like being okay. How do I say that? I don't enjoy disappointing people, so I'm not going to say like enjoying disappointing people, but I no longer let the fear of disappointing people hold me back. That's how I want to say it right now. That's an incredibly important lesson to learn. I won't go into that today because I think that'll be a great topic for another class, for another transmission. And we might go into that in the masterclass training. But this is why being of service gets so convoluted. I remember having a client once when I said something to her like, "Oh, you're in such service." And she was like, "Oh, don't even use that word. I don't like the word service. It just brings up so much triggers for me." It just like for her the word service was so associated with that baggage of rescuing and overgiving and self-sacrifice, and she just wanted none of that. So, and that was okay. I was like, "Okay, I won't use that word." But then at some point she came back around when she understood like, "Oh, okay, what does being of service really mean?" And so, thank you, Roxana. Thank you, everyone. So, we're going to go into our meditation as we come close to our end with just that question. I feel like we'll just open the dialogue between you and your soul of around service and explore, right? It doesn't need to take a long time. What area are you, how do I say that? Maybe what step are you being guided to take to be of service to the world, service to humanity? And don't let that like scare you. Sometimes I use that phrasing and people think like, "Oh my gosh, I have to take a huge step if it's got to be to serve humanity." But all steps are huge steps. So if you hear something that appears small, don't discount it. That might well be the step you are meant to take. I remember a few years back, I was really guided to take this class. It was a very joyful, fun class. I knew it would make me really happy. And my heart really wanted to take it, but I had these like other parts of me that were like, "Oh, that's not of being of service. It's just going to be fun and joyful. I'm here to heal humanity. I should take some other class that's really intense and deep." And but thank goodness that I listened to my heart and was like, "No, my heart really, really feels I'm supposed to take this class." And I took the class and it was joyful and it was fun. And I ended up meeting some amazing people that were became a key component of me fulfilling my divine mission. And so I'm just saying that to you so that when you ask the questions of your soul, don't discount it if it's something that feels like, "Oh, that can't be the thing. It's too little," or "That sounds like fun. It can't be that." Now, don't discount it if it's something that doesn't feel like fun. Sometimes it is something that perhaps we have resistance to that our soul is guiding us to. So let's go ahead and begin. So I invite you to close your eyes and take a few cleansing breaths. And let yourself settle into your heart and settle into the earth. And if it helps you to bring the palms of your hands to your heart, go ahead and do that. And then just invite your heart to project out in front of you a beautiful light, a spotlight, as before you appears a beautiful path. And then see yourself standing on that beautiful path. And it's actually, I'm seeing it's a crossroad. So you're at the beginning and there's all these paths radiating out. And you're just standing there looking at it. And you look at at all these paths and they all look quite beautiful. So there isn't one that's like, "Ew, that one looks so terrible. Of course I'm not going to go on that path." No, they all look, they're shiny and there's light and you're kind of like, "What's the path that I'm supposed to take?" And these are all paths that represent different levels of service. And because you're here, whether you're here live or watching the replay, I know that you are here. Your prayer is to be of the greatest service that you can be in this lifetime. And so, welcome your beautiful soul. Your soul appears right there, right next to you. And she's looking at all these paths along with you. And of course, your soul is beyond gender. I'm just going to use the pronoun she for now. And you ask your soul, beautiful soul, show me which is the path of greatest service for me. And understand that what you're asking is another way to ask it is which is the path that will bring the most blessings to the world and to myself. It's one and the same. And so as you ask that question, notice that all the paths dissolve except one. There's one that remains. And your soul saying, that's the path. And so take a step on that path. And as you stand on that path, just feel with both feet on the path. Even if you're like, I don't know the details of it, that's okay. You don't need to know. Just stand on the path and feel as you stand on it, there's these blessings that are coming to you. You're being blessed. You're being filled with light. And you're just going to ask now the question, beautiful soul, show me one little step that you want me to take today or this week that is part of my greatest service to the world. Again, beautiful soul, show me one little step that I can take today or this week that is part of this greatest service to the world. Show me that one little step. And just feel her answering in your heart, whether you hear the answer right now or it comes to you later. Your soul always answers you. And thank your beautiful soul as your soul thanks you. Notice how in service your soul is to you. And if you feel ready to commit to being of service to your own soul and coming back to your heart, coming back into your body, feel the earth underneath you. We bring the palms of our hands together. We bow to each other and our own heart. And we end this meditation with a namaste, namaste. And so if you heard your answer and you want to share it, feel free to share. What was that one little step? If you didn't hear it yet, it's going to come to you. And it might come to you when you're doing it. I think that's one of the biggest challenges is people think that it's going to be this like, oh, like fireworks. And sometimes our soul speaks to us like that. But sometimes it's like it's just like you get an urge to like, oh, I think I need to go take a walk in that park. And then you take that walk and you receive this divine download, right? Or I think I need to go make that phone call, or I need to sign up for that class, or whatever it is. So I'm just going to pull one surrender card and one star oracle card. And again, I invite you to join this 3-day soul immersion training. The times are all different. I think Wednesday it's at 11 Central. Thursday it's at 4 p.m. Central. And Friday it's at 9 a.m. Central. I had to do it that way because I have so many other classes I'm teaching and clients I'm seeing. But I would love to see you sign up for that. Okay, so I'm just going to do one card of each for the group, for all of you live and the replay. Okay. So, oh my goodness. This one flew so perfect. All right. It says, Father of the sky, God, I release the weight of the world from my shoulders. Look at this. I mean, how perfect is this card for what we were just talking about? Because this is what I was saying. People think that being of service means you have to carry the world on your shoulders. I have to rescue people. I have to sacrifice. I have to do all, put everyone first. And this card's literally saying, I release the weight of the world from my shoulders. Because that's not what the divine wants from us. Right? So, like, look at this. Beautiful. Right? We're not doing this alone. Being of service is that you're in service to your soul and your soul is in service to you. And we take that load off the shoulders. Yes, thank you, Destiny. And of course, Mother Mary is always here. Yes, Roxana. And then I'm just going to do a surrender card and then we will be done. Okay. Oh, perfect. Surrender outdated beliefs about yourself. This is from the first one was the Star Temple Oracle, and this is from the Power of Surrender cards. Let go of limiting ideas about yourself that originate from the past. Then you can own your power and soar in your life. All right. Those outdated beliefs, I'm not good enough, I don't know enough, I'm not ready. There's too much going on in my life, I can't do it yet. I'm going to be judged, I'm going to be abandoned. This is what we're doing, releasing those outdated beliefs. And what do you replace them with? You replace them with the belief your soul has in you. And let me tell you something, if you're worried that people are going to judge you, I just want to tell you they are. You are going to get judged. People judge me all the time. I have absolutely been judged in my leadership. So let's just accept that we are going to get judged, and that's okay. Like, our biggest fear is our own judgment of ourselves. It's not what other people say about us. So just if you have that fear, and I used to have it really, really strongly, I just want to tell you, you will be judged, but that's okay. Jesus was judged. Mother Mary was judged. Buddha was judged. We're in good company. That's okay. All right. Love you so much. I got to show up. Yes, Roxana. Jill saying, serve more, serve joyfully, serve without attachments. Yes, that's beautiful. And we're going to really dive deep in this soul immersion Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I cannot wait to connect with you, but sign up. You have to register in order to attend, even though it's a free offering. And I can't wait to see you. And I hope you can attend live so you can be part of the raffle, the exciting raffle. Right. Bye. Hey, Makisha, so good to see you. I hope you can attend the training. All right. And of course, let your friends know, anybody that you think will benefit from it. Please send them. All right. Lots of love, everyone. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.